Hello everyone, in this episode of the mini project series I'm gonna be creating a random color generator. So first we are going to select a base color. Let's take something in yellow. Then we can click the generate palette. It will change the background color and give us a bunch of random colors. Then when I click on one of these colors, for example this one, it says color copied and the code is right over here, and I can just Ctrl V to paste this right now and it's going to work. So I don't have to even copy it from here, it will automatically be copied to my pasting. So yeah, let's get right into it then. So right over here I have my file created with the random small projects and a color generator. So let's get going. First we are going to declare the doc type HTML, and HTML language is gonna be English. Alright, then in the head section we'll have the meta target equals UTF-8, and the name is going to be viewport, and the content width equals divide width, initial scale equals 1.0. Alright, then the title is going to be random color generator. Alright, there we go. And then I am going to link one Google font. So let's get over here. So I'm gonna create a link with an href attribute of this, and the relationship is going to be style sheet. There we go. Then I'm gonna link my own style sheet, and it's gonna be the style.css. Okay, that's everything we have to put inside of the head. Then let's create the body element, and inside I'm gonna create a div element with the class of container. Inside I'm gonna be creating a label. This is gonna be for the base color. Select a base color. So let's see what we got. Alright. And then I'm gonna be creating an input box. Input type color. The value is gonna be at start 0091FE. So it's kind of a bluish color. And the ID is gonna be base-color. Alright, I'm gonna create a button. The ID is gonna be generate btn, short for button, and generate colors. Alright, and then I'm gonna create another div section. So div with the ID of color palette and the class of color palette, and that's gonna be left empty for now. Then the last thing in the HTML is to import the script. So script source equals index.js, and there we go. We are done with the HTML. So next I'm going to style this with CSS. So I'm gonna use the asterisk to select all the elements, and I'm gonna put padding 0. Margin is going to be 0 as well. The box sizing property will be border box. There we go. And then the font family is gonna be the Google font Poppins. There we go. Backed up by sans serif. Okay, Then I'm selecting the body element. We are going to be using a flex box. Justify content is going to be centered. The horizontal alignment is going to be center. And the height will be 100 viewport heights. Alright. Then I'm gonna take the div element dot container with the class container, and the width is gonna be a minimum of 500 pixels or 90%. There we go. And text alignment is gonna be at the center. Padding, let's say 40 pixels or 36. That should be good. Border radius is gonna be 16 pixels, and the background dash color will be FFF. I'm gonna change this to an HSL value. I'm gonna change the color to a very light gray so we can see the palette or the div section. Alright. Then I'm gonna be styling the label. So let's get over here and select the label. I'm gonna be creating the font size. That's gonna be 16 pixels, which is the base. Let's see, 20 pixels, 18. I'm gonna go with 18. Then margin dash right. Let's add a little bit space between this and the color box. Let's say 10 pixels. That looks good. Alright. And then I'm gonna select the input element. I'm gonna add some padding of 5 pixels. And the cursor will be a pointer. So when I hover over this, it's gonna be a pointer. And the background color changes as well. Alright. Then I'm gonna style the button. So border is gonna be 3 pixels solid 0, 0, 0. There we go. Then I'm gonna be making the background color transparent. Border radius is going to be 5 pixels to smooth the corners. Then I'm gonna add some padding. 8 pixels on the top and bottom and 16 on the left and right. There we go. I'm gonna be making my cursor a pointer. And I'm gonna add margin dash left 10 pixels. So it will look like this. Alright. Then I'm also going to take the button and the hover pseudo class. When I hover over the button, the background color, actually let's change the color of the border. Border 3 pixels solid HSL 0% but 10% this time. Let's make it 20%. Okay, so the borders are going to be changing slightly when I hover over. Then I'm gonna take the active pseudo class. So border colon 3 pixels solid HSL 0% and 40%. So when I click, the borders are gonna become gray. So we got a flashing button. Alright. After that, I'm gonna style the color palette, this one. We don't have anything inside of this element yet, but we are gonna be creating that with JavaScript. So yeah, I'm gonna take dot color dash palette, and I'm gonna add some margin top of 20 pixels. Display is gonna be a flex box, and justify content center. There we go. Then inside of this div element, I'm gonna be creating an element with the class of color box, and that's gonna be created with JavaScript, but I'm gonna style it right away. So I'm gonna take dot color box, and the width is gonna be 50 pixels, Same goes for the height. The margin is gonna be 0 and 5 pixels. Border radius 5 pixels. And the cursor is gonna be a pointer. So that's all the CSS styling that we're gonna need. Then we can move on to the JavaScript. So yeah, let's go and get going. So I'm gonna create a variable. Let generate palette. This is gonna be an arrow function. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna create a few constants. Const base color input equals document dot get element by ID, and I'm gonna take the base color ID. It's gonna be this one right over here. So this one. Alright. After that, I am going to make another constant. Color palette container equals document.getElement by ID container. Actually, no. This is going to be the color palette. So color dash palette. There we go. So it's going to be this one, the new development that I'm going to be creating elements inside of. And then I'm gonna be making a const base color is gonna be equal to the base color inputs value. So I'm gonna take the value from this box and I'm gonna make it equal to base color. Alright, we got the constants declared. Then I'm gonna take the document.body.style.background color and I'm gonna make it equal to the base color. Alright, let's run this again. Oh yeah, but we are not calling this function yet, so it's not gonna work yet. So basically this line of code will change the background color of this document to be whatever the base color is gonna be. Okay. Then I'm gonna create a color, or actually use the color palette container, and I'm gonna change the inner HTML to be an empty string to clear the previous palette. Then I'm gonna const palette equals generate harmonious palette and take the base color. And then I'm gonna use the palette and the for each method. We have one parameter color. Then I'm gonna use an arrow function, do this. So const color box equals document dot create element, and we are going to be creating a div element. Then I'm going to take the color box, the style, the background color is gonna be color, then the class name, color box dot class name equals color dash box. So this is gonna be this one right over here. Okay. And then I'm going to add an event listener. So color box dot add event listener. What are we listening for? We are listening for a click. After that, we are going to do the function copy code. So this will copy the color palette's code or the hex value inside of it. Alright. And then color palette container dot append color box. There we go. And I'm gonna add a semicolon and a semicolon. Alright, then I gotta create this function. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna start by creating a function, generate harmonious palette. We got one parameter, the base color. And inside of this, I'm gonna be creating a couple of constant values. First is going to be called the number of colors. That's gonna be 5. We wanna create 5 randomly colored palettes. Then I'm gonna take the base hue. That's going to be extract hue from the base color. Then a constant color palette, and that's gonna be an empty array for now. Alright, then I'm gonna create a for loop. So for let index of I equals 0, and when the index of I is smaller than the number of colors, I'm gonna increment it by 1. And inside of the for loop, I'm gonna be const hue equals base hue plus, then I'm gonna do some math. 360 divided by the number of colors times the index of I. And then I'm gonna take the modulus 360. There we go. I'm gonna make another constant of color that's gonna be equal to a template literal HSL. I'm gonna use a value inside of here, so that's gonna be actually brackets first. Then I'm gonna make hue colon 70% colon 50%. There we go. And this needs to be a semicolon, not a colon. Alright. And then color palette dot push color. And after that, while we have gone through the for loop, I'm going to return the color palette. Alright, so that's another part complete. Let's continue. We gotta create a function to extract hue. So, function extract hue. We got one parameter that's gonna be the color, and inside I'm gonna be making const hex equals color.slice 1. Then const RGB equals parse int hex and 16. Const R equals RGB 16 and 0xff, and G is going to be RGB. Here we go. And then I can basically copy this line of code and make it here RGB, and I'm gonna change this to be 0. So there we go. And then I'm going to be creating const max equals mat.max. Use the the max method of mat, and then R, G, and B. And then I'm gonna take the minimum mat.min RGB. There we go. Then I'm gonna declare a variable hue, but not yet assign it. I'm gonna make an if statement, so if the max is equal to min, we are setting the hue to be 0. Else we will make a constant of d max minus min. And then I'm gonna use a switch to examine the value of max. So let's go. So the case R is going to be hue equals G minus B divided by D plus another set of brackets G. I'm gonna use a ternary operator. If G is smaller than B, we're gonna return 6 and otherwise 0. And then times 60. Alright? And break. Okay, then I'm gonna make a case G. The hue is gonna be, we are basically following the same pattern. B minus R divided by D plus 2. But this time we don't have to do the ternary operator, we can just do times 60 and be sure to break. Then I'm gonna take the case B. Hue is gonna be R minus G divided by D plus 4 times 60 and break. And I'm gonna be returning the hue. So there we go. And then we got one more function we have to create. That's going to be the copy code function. So when we click on one of the color palettes, that needs to be copied. So function copy code, we got one parameter event. I'm gonna use E for that. So let input equals document dot create element input. Input dot type will equal text, and the text will be event dot target dot style dot background color. So whatever the generated color is going to be shown on the page. Then I'm gonna let hex equals a hashtag and let RGB code equals text, use the replace method, and then I'm gonna be putting inside divided by array RGB, call the function. Wait, did I make a mistake? I hope I didn't. Alright, let's go and make this plus divided by the G and the empty string. Then I'm gonna use the OR RGB code. So there we go. Am I missing something? Unterminated regular expression literal. Yes, this array needs to end over here. Alright, there we go. Then let's take the RGB code and split it. Dot split with commas. There we go. Then I'm gonna take the RGB code dot for each. We have the value parameter, and then we'll do this value, and then we will parse int the value and make it into a string 16. There we go. and the hex plus equals value dot length equals 1. Use the ternary operator. Then I'm gonna input 0 plus value, or otherwise the value. Alright, I'm gonna add a semicolon right over here, and then I gotta go ahead and take the input dot value and make it equal to hex, then document dot body dot append child input dot select and document dot exec command copy. Alright, document dot body dot remove child. We will remove the input and alert color copied. And then I'm gonna show the hex value of the color. There we go. Finally, I'm going to create a window dot add event listener and load, and then we will execute the function generate palette. Alright, now you can see that our background color has changed. Then I'm gonna go and take the document dot get element by ID. I'm gonna take the button generate btn, and then I'm gonna actually put these on a new line. I'm also gonna add an event listener. We are listening for a click, and when the click happens, we will execute the generate palette function. So that should be everything. We have one error though. Okay, we cannot have these in a line. I'm gonna make a const x and then x dot add event listener. Alright, so let's see if this works. I'm gonna open it in Google Chrome and let's select a color. Let's take a purple color. Generate colors. Oh yeah, it works. If I wanna copy some of these, I'm gonna take this one. Color copied. Hashtag 26D938. And if I wanna input that, Control V. There we go. Seems to be working. Alright, so that is a simple color generator created with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And it will copy the colors automatically, so I don't have to select this and copy it. The code down here will do it for us. So yeah, I only have to click and it will give me an alert, color copied. Alright, then I can create a new color. Let's take a red color. Okay, that's shining on my eyes. I can take this one. Let's take a light green. Let's take something something like this. Yeah, so this is a simple random color generator in HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So yeah, this is it. Feel free to use the code, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed and were able to learn something new in this episode. I tried to walk you through the code as best as I can, but I try to keep these episodes kind of short. So yeah, anyways, have yourselves a wonderful day. I hope you learned something new in this one, and yeah, I'm gonna see you in the next one. So have a wonderful day, everyone, and happy learning, everybody. Bye bye.